Have you lost a gerbil? Is there a gerbil missing that you're aware of? Because we found what may be a lost gerbil. Now, some refer to this gerbil as Ross Gerber. I personally think it's more accurate to describe him as a lost gerbil. And the gerbil had been like maybe slightly quiet recently, but suddenly appeared, we now know where this lost gerbil is. We just can't find the rightful owner. But let's listen to a little bit of the insanity that is lost gerbil. Some call him Ross Gerber. I don't know. Lost gerbil, Gerber Kawasaki, absolutely insane.
What do you think is behind the surge behind Tesla's share price?
Well, there's two things. First, I want to address the idea that Tesla's going to sell a lot more cars over the next 2 years without using levers like advertising and not having any really new vehicles.
No new vehicles? Did you read the Q1 earnings slide deck? I mean, silly me if I assumed that a guy who's such an expert that he's going to appear on CNBS and that CNBS thinks is an expert, they have him on CNBS, would have missed. We have updated our future vehicle lineup to accelerate the launch of new models ahead of our previously communicated start of production in the second half of 2025. These new vehicles, including more affordable models, will utilize aspects of the next generation platform as well as aspects of our current platforms and will be able to be produced on the same manufacturing lines as our current vehicle lineup. What do you mean no new vehicles? I mean, I appreciate the trauma of being lost as a gerbil and trying to find your way home, but if while you're a lost gerbil, while you're hiding out from the big bad Elons of the world, maybe you could like try to do your homework. Maybe you should just sort of like pay attention. If you're going to speak publicly about a topic like Tesla, maybe you could, I don't know, read basic information that any investor would read. And then on top of that, without advertising, well, Tesla has tried advertising and they haven't gone all in on advertising because it probably isn't working that well. That's the problem. That advertising makes sense if advertising is effective. And if Tesla has discovered, hey, advertising isn't that effective, then that's not going to help. So then you have to ask yourself, gee, I wonder what else could help sell vehicles in the future. Like maybe interest rates are about to start dropping. Some people have been paying attention to macro. I personally haven't been paying that much attention to macro, but I have friends who have. There appear to be some hints that the Federal Reserve might lower interest rates, and that might spur demand. I don't know. But with two more affordable vehicles coming, I think we can dispense with Ross's moronic statement that Tesla needs to come out with new vehicles or they can't sell more cars, because they are coming out with new vehicles early 2025. Hello?
Or a refreshed Model Y.
And Elon said there won't be a refreshed Model Y this year. So there may be a refreshed Model Y next year, but there's no Model Y coming this year. But we're not talking about selling vehicles this year. We're talking about selling vehicles going forward. Tesla's got new vehicles coming. And interest rates are likely to go down. There's a decent chance of it. We may see a surge in the economy. Who knows?
All the analysts have been wrong with Tesla's numbers over the last 3 years, and they've been substantially lower than what analysts and even what Tesla expected. And I just don't see why sales would accelerate greatly with the current strategy.
Okay, we can all agree that Ross doesn't see the strategy. We can all agree with that. Lost gerbils being lost gerbils. I think that a lot of analysts have predicted a lot of different things about Tesla, but those of us who are long-term investors haven't been worried about quarterly numbers. And Lost Gerbil used to be an investor who bought in back when the company was not driven by quarterly numbers. And the company is not driven by quarterly numbers. The company is driven by the prospects for the future, which are very bright. And the fact that Lost Gerbil doesn't see the improvements in FSD and doesn't see the potential of Optimus is not a surprise to anyone who follows Lost Gerbil or has followed Lost Gerbil. Lost Gerbil, Lost Gerbil, Lost Gerbil. I'm not getting tired of saying it.
A lot of that has to do is, I think, the worst case scenario where Elon Musk would leave the company because his pay package wasn't approved.
You mean the thing that you said people should vote no on? That didn't happen, that if that had happened, then the stock would still be low, but because we voted for the pay package, against your advice, against your opinion, the stock is now up because we did what you said not to do?
that kind of got taken off the table. So that was like a positive thing.
So the thing that you wanted to happen not happening was a positive thing. You tried to drive Elon out of the company. You tried to blame the board for everything. We didn't listen to you. Shareholders voted overwhelmingly for the pay package. Elon's not leaving the company, unlike what you wanted. And the stock is up because we all realize how much better the company is with Elon there. Now, I'm not convinced that the shareholder vote drove this much of the increase. I'm not claiming I can predict why the stock went from 175 to 260 or wherever it is right now. I think that to some extent the stock was depressed over the shareholder vote, and I had sold ahead of the shareholder vote, and I bought back in right after the shareholder vote, so I lost almost nothing. I bought back in around low 180s. Just a quick shout out to Tesla Boomer Mama, who's been tracking the shares held by various funds, including in particular Barry Glack's fund, F Future Fund, whatever, and Ross Gerbil's Gerber Kawasaki Fund, GK. And you can see that as of, I think this was April of 2024, Ross Gerbil had sold down to 1,000 shares from up around 8,000 shares. He sold nearly everything his fund owned of Tesla stock. I don't know how much he had at the time of the shareholder vote or how much he had, where he sold in terms of peaks and valleys, but Ross Gerbil sold it. He's been selling and selling Tesla stock. And he didn't just sell a little. Congratulations, all you investors in Gerber Kawasaki and all you people who've been listening to Gerber Kawasaki and Ross Gerbil's advice on Tesla. Probably not the best move. Between him and Barry Glack, you got the best investing advice team you can find if you want to lose money on Tesla stock.
The delivery numbers were obviously down year over year, so celebrating that, I'm still sort of like, okay, it wasn't as bad as expected, but at the same respect, they were giving away cars.
They were giving away cars? What?
Month with ridiculously low financing deals where Tesla lost money on those cars.
Wait. Low financing deals. This was one of the ideas you pushed. You supported this Barry Glack nonsense about lowering interest rate, Tesla subsidizing low interest rates. Now you're saying that's a bad idea? Like everything that you said Tesla should do, they did. A little bit at least. Advertising didn't work. Apparently you think lowering interest rates, subsidizing low interest rates didn't work. They had a bad quarter for a variety of reasons that we all know. Not this past quarter. The quarter before was a bad quarter for a variety of reasons. They did outperform this quarter. Energy storage. He hasn't mentioned energy storage yet. Energy storage doubled, more than doubled. Like stunning. Does he know?
So what I think the real thing is a lot of people are short Tesla and they just get caught. And I don't understand why short sellers are so stupid. You just don't short Tesla.
Yeah, you also don't sell Tesla. I mean, look, I did sell 20% of what I had, a little less than 20%. I bought back 19. Price went up a little bit, so I lost 1% of a little less than 1% of my holdings. I wasn't betting against Tesla. I was just concerned about the shareholder vote. Because asshats like him were telling people to vote no, and I just don't know how many people listen to him. Him and Fred Fudstone and Barry Glack and all these people crapping on Elon. I didn't know how strong an effect that was. Apparently it wasn't that strong.
How many times have they lost? I mean, just because I'm unhappy with Tesla and I might sell a little bit of my stock has nothing to do with going short.
Sell a little bit of your stock? I might have my numbers wrong, but my impression is Gerber Kawasaki Fund, GK, sold a lot of its Tesla stock. And Ross talked about selling a lot of Tesla stock, not a little. This guy is telling stories to try to make himself look good, and we all know he ain't that good. Ross Gerber looking for his way home.
One of the most innovative, important companies of our time. So, I just want Tesla to get its act together, but by far, there's so much more that Tesla can do in the future if they really just focus.
So Tesla's unfocused. They need to get their act together. And that explains why the stock went from 140 to 260 or 175 to 260. And maybe it was because Elon's still at the company, even though you didn't want him there. Tesla needs to get its act together. Tesla's had its act together. Tesla's doing great things. Tesla's looking to the future. Tesla's building a supercomputer cluster on its Giga Texas factory. Didn't mention that. Didn't mention the developments with Tesla Semi. Didn't mention Tesla energy storage more than doubled. Quarter on quarter. More than doubled the previous record. Energy storage is higher gross margin, huge impact. My personal opinion, that's the thing that probably drove the stock up, is that analysts started figuring out, wait a minute, this is going to have a big impact on earnings. And not just this quarter, but going forward. And if you follow Larry Goldberg, Tesla Larry, on X, he did some analysis of that. And I haven't dove deep on the analysis because I'm just a long-term holder. I don't dive deep on little numbers like that anymore. I do look at the long term and say, okay, well, we're going to have 40 gigawatt hours a year from Shanghai and 40 gigawatt hours a year from Lathrop, and there's probably more megapack factories coming. Limiting Factor has a good video about the future of megapack factories and how many there are likely to be. If they're going to be high gross margin, if the demand is as large as we think it is, that's going to be a significant contributor to the value of the company, assuming that Robotaxi and Optimus don't happen. But those of us who really care realize the real value in Tesla is Robotaxi and Optimus. And he doesn't mention any of that because he doesn't like the strategy. He thinks Tesla needs to get their act together and be more like General Motors. I think he thinks Mary led. Lost Gerbil, that's the solution. That's what we need. Lost Gerbil, we need to get him to Mary so Mary can lead him home. Mary led. Hey, check out the Turn Impossible into Late t-shirt at elonbits.com. Other t-shirts like Tesla Air, Tesla's the next Tesla at elonbits.com. Please follow me on X, WR4NYGov. Please join my YouTube channel as a channel member. Support me on Patreon. Support me on The Daily Lie. Thank you so much for watching.